My ex told me I was nothing without him. 8 months later, he discovered exactly how wrong he was. Can you imagine your 25th birthday, all your closest friends and family gathered, and you genuinely believe the man you love is about to propose? You're holding your breath, your heart pounding. And then he stands up, clinks his glass, announces he's leaving you, and says, "You were just a stepping stone. Time to move on to bigger things." That happened to me. But what happened next? Oh, you won't believe what my best friend did. It was my 25th birthday, a huge party. Lloyd, my boyfriend, got up, clinked his glass, and the whole room went silent. My heart was hammering. This was it. I just knew he was going to propose. Instead, he dropped a bombshell. He was leaving me. For my best friend, Christina. The room froze. I can still hear the clatter of my mom's fork against her plate. Lloyd, without a shred of remorse, actually thanked me for being a perfect stepping stone. He said I'd introduced him to people who actually matter. Like I was just a means to an end. I was stunned. I'd worked 2 jobs for 18 months, busting my butt to support his music career. I'd believed every word about his almost finished album and the very interested record label. The week before, we'd picked out baby names together. My entire world was shattering. Christina, my best friend, was sitting right beside me. I braced myself for her to take his hand, to confirm every single fear I'd ever had about not being enough. Instead, she slowly pulled out her phone. Her voice was steady, cutting through the stunned silence. "His band kicked him out 6 months ago," she announced, looking right at Lloyd. "He never told you because he was using rehearsal as an excuse to go on dates with other women." She then showed me screenshots, photos, conversations with his former bandmates who'd been trying to reach me for weeks. Lloyd's face went white. "What are you doing?" he hissed. Christina completely ignored him, turning to me. "I tried to tell you," she said, her voice soft but firm. "But you kept defending him. So I let him think I was interested, just to see what he'd do." She looked at Lloyd then, with something that could only be pity. "You failed." Security escorted Lloyd out. He screamed the whole way, yelling that we'd regret this, that he was destined for greatness, and that I was nothing without him. That last part echoed in my head for months. The thing about being told you're nothing is, a part of you actually believes it, even when you know logically the person saying it is a liar and a cheat. Something in your chest tightens. You start cataloging evidence. Asterisk, maybe I am boring. Maybe I don't have interesting hobbies. Maybe the only color in my life really was him. Asterisk, I spent the first 2 months after my birthday crying in Christina's guest room. She never rushed me. She just kept showing up with takeout and bad movies, sitting with me in the silence when I couldn't talk. Around month 3, I started running. Not because I wanted to get healthy or prove anything. I just needed to be tired enough to sleep without dreaming about his face. But somewhere along those early morning miles, I started noticing things. The way the city looked at sunrise, the coffee shop owner who remembered my order, the woman at the park who walked her ancient golden retriever every day and always waved. I'd been so focused on Lloyd's world that I'd forgotten I had one of my own. Month 5, I got promoted. Not because I was trying to prove him wrong, but because I'd finally stopped leaving work early to accommodate his imaginary rehearsal schedule. My boss noticed. For the first time in years, I noticed, too. Month 7, I went on a date, a real one, with a guy from my running group who'd been asking for weeks. It was awkward and sweet. We split the check, and I didn't compare him to Lloyd once. Month 8, Lloyd texted me. It was 2 in the morning. He needed a favor. A job interview required a background check, and he wanted me to confirm he still lived at my address. He reminded me of all the songs he'd written for me, all the flowers he'd given. He'd never written me a single song. The flowers came from neighbors' yards. I read his messages 3 times. A year ago, I would have helped him. I would have told myself he was struggling, that everyone deserves a second chance, that maybe if I was kind enough, He'd finally see my worth. But I'd spent 8 months learning that my worth had nothing to do with him. I didn't respond, not out of revenge, not to punish him, but because I finally understood that his problems weren't mine to solve. They never had been. I'd just been too scared of being alone to see it. Christina called me the next morning. "Lloyd's been texting everyone," she said. "Apparently, you're the villain now for not helping him." I laughed, actually laughed. "Let him tell whatever story he wants," I said. "Because here's what I learned in those 8 months. People like Lloyd will always find someone to blame. They'll rewrite history until they're the hero, and everyone else is the obstacle. You can't control their narrative. You can only stop being a character in it. I'm 26 now. I have a job I'm proud of, friends who show up, and a life that's mine. It's quieter than the chaos of loving Lloyd. Some days it even feels boring, but it's not nothing. It's everything I built when no one was watching, and I wouldn't trade it for any version of interesting that requires me to disappear." Fast forward 3 years. I'm 29. Lloyd is a distant memory. I met someone new about a year ago. Someone who shows up, someone who sees me. We got married last spring in a small ceremony, just the people who matter. And 6 months ago, I found out I was pregnant. Today, my daughter is 6 months old. She's perfect, with dark curls, my eyes, and her father's smile. The pediatrician's office smells of antiseptic and baby powder. The doctor finishes the exam, looks up, and asks, "How's your support system? Do you have family nearby?" I give my usual answer. My husband's parents live about 20 minutes away. They're wonderful, very involved. The doctor nods. "And your family?" I adjust my daughter's onesie, focusing on the snaps. They're around. We see them when we can. The doctor doesn't push, but the question stays with me, heavy in my chest. Last night, scrolling social media, I saw photos my mom posted. My sister Rachel's daughter, 8 months old, grinning with 2 tiny teeth. The caption, "Our first grandbaby," hitting all her milestones. Our first grandbaby, like mine didn't exist. My daughter, my beautiful 6-month-old baby, is completely erased. That evening, I'm sitting on the nursery floor, my daughter sleeping in my arms. My husband appears in the doorway. He just lowers himself beside me. He reaches over and wipes a tear from my cheek. "What happened?" he whispers. I tell him everything. The pediatrician's question, Rachel's daughter, the social media post. The words come out messy and broken. "Are you really okay with how things are?" he asks. "I'm fine," I say automatically. I made the right choice. I don't regret it. He's quiet for a moment. Being right and being at peace aren't always the same thing. He runs his hand gently over our daughter's back. She's going to ask about her aunt someday, about her cousin. We need to figure out what we're going to tell her. I look down at her peaceful face. What will I say? That her aunt asked me to hide my pregnancy because it made her uncomfortable? That her grandparents pretend she doesn't exist to keep the peace? That I chose my own boundaries over a relationship with my sister? All true, but was it the whole truth anymore? The next morning, my mom calls about Thanksgiving. Rachel and her family will be coming Thursday afternoon. We thought maybe you could come Friday. That way, everyone gets quality time and it's not awkward. Not awkward. It's the same arrangement they've had for months, ever since I told them I was pregnant. Separate family dinners. Like we're divorced parents. I say, "Sure, Friday works," like I always do. I hang up and watch my daughter. She's 6 months old. She's never had Thanksgiving with her whole family. She never will, the way things are going. What am I teaching her about family? That it's okay to keep people separate for comfort? That avoiding hard conversations is better than working through them? At a mother's group meeting, a woman named Sarah pulls out her phone. "My sister just had her baby last week. Look how cute they are together. They're already best friends. My sister and I are planning to do everything together." My chest tightens. That's what my daughter should have. That's what Rachel's daughter should have. I mumbled about needing the bathroom, locked myself in a stall, and pressed my palms against my eyes. I didn't want to cry here. That night, my husband brings it up. What if we hosted Thanksgiving this year? Invited my parents here instead of doing the whole separate schedule thing. The idea hangs in the air, heavy with implications. If we host, we're not just skipping a dinner. We're making a statement. We're choosing distance. That feels like making it permanent, I say quietly. Maybe it already is permanent, he replies. Maybe we're just pretending it's temporary. Okay, I say finally. Let's do it. He pulls me into a hug. I call my mom. Mom, we're going to host Thanksgiving this year. Just us and my husband's parents. Silence. Are you trying to punish us? She asks, her voice small. No, I'm not punishing anyone. We're just building our own traditions. It feels like you're forcing us to choose sides. I'm not forcing anything. I need to do this for my family. We're your family, too. I know, but right now this is what I need. We hang up without resolving anything. My dad calls an hour later. Hey, kiddo, he says, his voice unusually careful. Your mom told me about Thanksgiving. I understand you're hurt, but have you considered that Rachel might be hurting too? Maybe it's time someone took the first step toward fixing this. The phrase hits me wrong. Someone took the first step, like I'm the one who broke this. I didn't break this, Dad. I know you didn't, but you're both stuck now, and someone has to move first. His words stay with me for days. Someone took the first step. I've been content to let the silence continue. I haven't reached out. I haven't tried to bridge the gap. I've been waiting for Rachel to apologize, for my parents to see how wrong this all is, for someone else to fix what feels broken. Maybe my dad is right. Late one night, I scroll through social media. I've been avoiding Rachel's profile for months. But tonight I click. I see photos of her daughter. Rachel's daughter at 6 months grinning. 7 months reaching for a toy. 8 months pulling herself up. Photos of family gatherings I wasn't invited to. Birthday parties. Casual afternoons at the park. My parents are in many of them, holding their granddaughter, smiling. Then I see it. A close-up of Rachel's daughter's face. Those dark eyes staring right at the camera. My family's eyes. The same ones I see in my own baby. The same ones I see in the mirror. Something cracks open in my chest. Sharp. Sudden. These girls share blood. Share family. Share a whole history they'll never know about. And I'm part of the reason why. The next morning, I sit at the kitchen table, phone in hand. I type a message to Rachel. I saw the photos of your daughter sitting up. She's beautiful. I delete it. Sounds fake. I try again. I miss you. Feels like begging. My third attempt starts with an apology for how things happened. My husband walks by, glances at the screen. Why are you apologizing? He asks. I'm just trying to make things better. He sits down. You're apologizing for announcing your pregnancy, for being happy about your own baby, for taking up space in your own life. He's right. I delete it. That evening we talk. He asks what I want from reaching out. I don't know. Maybe for her to understand how much she hurt me. Maybe for her to see we're both mothers now, and our daughters deserve to know each other. Maybe I just want my sister back. Reaching out doesn't mean admitting you were wrong, he says, but it does mean acknowledging that we're both stuck. Maybe you can reach out without apologizing, just by being honest about missing her and wanting something different. The idea feels risky, like opening a door I've kept locked for protection, but staying locked away isn't working either. I pick up my phone again. I saw the photo of your daughter sitting up, and she's beautiful. I think about you often. I read it 5 times. Hit send. Immediately wish I could take it back. 3 hours pass. No response. I check my phone every 10 minutes, then force myself to put it in another room. At midnight, my phone buzzes. Rachel's name. Thank you, the text says, and I think about you too. That's it. Nothing else. No explanation. No invitation. I stare at those two sentences like a code. Does she mean she thinks about me with anger or regret? Is this a reconnect or just polite? I send a screenshot to my husband, already asleep beside me. I analyze every possible meaning. It's not much, but it's the first direct contact in 6 months, and it feels monumental. My mom calls right after breakfast. She's already heard about the text. "What are your intentions with Rachel?" she asks, like I'm some suspicious character. She wants to know if I'm ready to apologize properly. The assumption that I owe Rachel an apology, while Rachel owes me nothing, makes my stomach twist. I grip the phone. Breathe. She keeps talking about how devastated Rachel has been, how hard these months. Abandonment, that word echoes so backwards from what actually happened. Rachel demanded I stay away. Rachel refused to come to my baby shower. Rachel made it clear my pregnancy was an inconvenience. I interrupt my mom. I reached out because I wanted to, not because I think I was wrong about announcing my pregnancy. She sighs. That particular sigh, that means I'm being difficult. Rachel has been devastated by your abandonment. I want to scream that I didn't abandon anyone. I want to point out who demanded distance first. But I know she won't hear it. She wants me to fix things by disappearing, by making myself smaller. I tell her I need to go. Hang up before she can guilt me. A week passes. No further contact from Rachel. I try not to feel rejected, but I keep checking my phone. My husband says, 6 months of silence doesn't disappear with one text. Maybe you need to be patient. Rachel needs time to figure out what she wants, just like you did. At the park, I watch two little girls, sisters, playing. They run to the sandbox, share toys. The older one helps the younger. I watch them with an ache. Will my daughter and her cousin ever know each other like that? Will they wonder why their mothers couldn't figure out how to be in the same room? That evening, Rachel texts, "Willing to talk on the phone sometime?" My immediate reaction is anxiety. An ambush? Or genuine? I text back that I'd be willing to call tomorrow evening. "Okay," she responds. The next day is spent rehearsing. How will I respond if she attacks? If she demands apologies I won't give? My husband reminds me, Rachel reached out. She asked to talk. Maybe she wants something different, too. But I remember every past conflict. How they always ended with me apologizing, even when I wasn't sure what I'd done wrong. I'm terrified that one phone call will undo all the growth I've made. That evening, I sit on the couch, staring at my phone. 5 full minutes. Then I dial. 3 rings. She answers. Silence. We talk about the weather. Ridiculous. Safe. Then she mentions her daughter's sleep schedule. Mine isn't sleeping through the night either. Stiff conversation like a script. Then she takes a breath. I've been thinking a lot about what happened. Her voice cracks. I know that sound. Usually, it's before she admits something she doesn't want to say out loud. But this time it just sounds real. She starts talking about how overwhelmed she was. How every pregnancy announcement felt like salt in a wound she couldn't heal. She says she made my pregnancy about her fears instead of my happiness. And she knows that wasn't fair. She doesn't use the word sorry. I noticed that. But she does say that asking me to hide something so important was wrong. Something shifts in my chest. A door I'd locked tight is opening just a crack. I've been holding on to my anger like armor. But hearing her acknowledge what she did makes it harder to hold on. I tell her I get that she was struggling, that I never wanted to hurt her. But I need her to understand how much it hurt to be treated like my baby was some kind of problem that needed to be hidden away. My voice gets wobbly. I hate that I'm crying. She's crying too. We're both just messy and honest in a way we haven't been in years. It's not clean. It's not fixed. But it feels more real than any conversation we've had since this whole thing started. We talk for 40 minutes explaining our sides, sitting in silence while one of us cries. We agree to text more. Maybe coffee. When I hang up, I feel like I've run a marathon. My husband comes in. Maybe resolution isn't what I should be looking for right now, he says. Maybe we're just learning how to exist in the same space without one of us having to disappear. It hits me harder than it should. I've been so focused on either fixing everything or keeping my distance. I hadn't considered something in between. Over the next 2 weeks, my phone buzzes with texts from her. Baby food recommendations. Sleep training questions. I send articles. She sends laughing emojis about diaper blowouts. It feels weird to be casual with someone I've avoided for months. Like we're strangers trying to be friends. But it also feels like we're building something new. My mom calls. Voice bright. So happy you're talking again. When can we all get together for a family dinner? I tell her we're not ready for that. Her voice dims. She's disappointed. My slow, careful steps aren't good enough for her picture-perfect family reunion. I get off the phone frustrated. She's turning our fragile progress into something it's not. Our coffee shop meetings become a routine. Every Tuesday morning, our daughters in car seats, staring at each other. The conversations are careful, surface level at first, then slowly deeper. During our 4th coffee date, Rachel admits something unexpected. She resented how easily I got pregnant when she struggled, how I announced at 6 weeks when she'd waited until 12. I feel my defenses rise. I shouldn't have to hide my joy, but I make myself pause, actually hear what she's saying. I tell her I resented being asked to hide something so important, that it made me feel like my baby was an inconvenience. Tears in both our eyes, neither of us apologizing exactly, but we're finally honest. The next week, Rachel says something almost like sorry. She realizes now she was trying to control something she felt powerless about. Her anxiety made her selfish. It's the closest she's come to a real apology. I tell her I appreciate it. I understand she was struggling, but what she asked wasn't fair. She knows, she says. She knew even then. She was so scared. I reach across the table and squeeze her hand. Something in my chest loosens. Our coffee date the week after, I tell Rachel about hiding my pregnancy, wearing baggy clothes, skipping events, how isolated I felt during what should have been an exciting time. I explain that's why I'm so determined now to never hide my daughter's existence, why I post photos. Rachel listens. She didn't think about what she was asking me to give up. It's not a perfect conversation, but it feels like progress. My mom calls again, voice bright. Time to be a family again. Thanksgiving dinner at my house. I tell her I need to talk to Rachel first. She's disappointed. Rachel and I text back and forth. Big family gathering? Are we ready? We agree to do it, but with an exit plan, a signal. I text my mom. 3 heart emojis. Like everything is fixed. The week before Thanksgiving, Rachel calls at 9 p.m. She's crying. Her daughter has a fever. Throwing up. Urgent care. Can't figure out what's wrong. She's terrified. I don't think about our complicated history. I just tell her I'm coming over. My husband stays with our daughter. I drive to Rachel's house for the first time in over a year. She opens the door, red eyes, her daughter whimpering. We sit on the couch. Test results come back. Just a virus. Rachel collapses with relief. She looks at me. Thank you for coming. This is the first time we've been real sisters in years. Thanksgiving dinner at my parents' house is exactly as awkward as I expected. My mom's voice is too bright, her smile too wide. Rachel and I sit across from each other. Our daughters babble at the ends of the table. My mom talks about how wonderful it is to have everyone together. I catch Rachel's eye. She makes a face, just a tiny widening of her eyes. I have to press my lips together to keep from laughing. There's something bonding about sharing that awareness. Both of us seeing how hard our parents are trying to pretend the last 6 months didn't happen. It's not comfortable, but Rachel and I are on the same side of something for the first time in a long time. After dinner, we retreat to the living room. Our daughters, on a blanket between us, stare at each other. My daughter reaches out. Rachel's daughter grabs her fingers. They hold on. Rachel watches, tears in her eyes. She says she's sorry they missed the first 6 months, that she wishes she hadn't wasted so much time being stubborn and hurt. I tell her I'm sorry too, that I could have reached out sooner, but I was too proud. She nods, wipes her eyes. She probably wouldn't have been ready to hear from me anyway, she says. She needed those months to work through her own feelings. I understand. I needed that time too. We fall into a pattern, meeting every other week at a park. Our daughters roll around together while we drink coffee and talk about sleep schedules. It's not the close relationship we had before. We're more careful now, more aware of the ways we can hurt each other. Sometimes it feels stiff, but there's something honest about it that our old relationship didn't have. Like we're actually seeing each other. My mom keeps pushing for family dinners. I finally tell her, you need to let Rachel and me figure out our relationship without your interference. She sounds hurt. I'm just trying to keep the family together. I know, but Rachel and I need space. My dad calls later. He's proud of me for setting that boundary. Your mom means well, but doesn't always understand that fixing things isn't the same as pretending they were never broken. At the park in early December, Rachel brings up my pregnancy announcement again. I tense up. I thought we were past this. She says she understands now why I made the choice, but she still wishes I had handled it differently. I tell her we're not going back to that conversation. I'm not going to apologize for announcing my own pregnancy at my own birthday dinner. She looks surprised. She expected me to back down. But then she nods. Okay. She won't bring it up again. We sit in uncomfortable silence. Then we start talking about other things. We just survived our first real argument since reconnecting. It feels like progress, even though it didn't feel good. My therapist helps me understand. My relationship with Rachel will always carry the weight of what happened. You can't erase hurt like that, but that doesn't mean the relationship can't also be meaningful. It will be different. We don't have to rebuild what broke. We can build something new. I don't want the sister who needed me to be smaller. I want the sister who shows up even when things are hard. Christmas morning, Rachel shows up with a wrapped box, a tiny red dress with white polka dots. She bought the same one for her daughter, a small thing, but it feels bigger, like she's acknowledging our daughters should know each other. I hug her. It doesn't feel forced. My daughter's first birthday party. I invite Rachel, not really expecting her, but she shows up with her family. I watch our daughters play side by side. I feel grateful for the messy progress. It's not the fairy tale reconciliation my mom wanted. It's slower, harder, more honest. My husband mentions I seem lighter lately. He's right. Accepting a complicated relationship with Rachel freed me. I can be her sister without being her best friend. I can love her without trusting her with everything. I can build something new instead of mourning what we lost. Rachel calls. She's pregnant again. She tells me first. I scream with happiness. No competition, just genuine joy. Our kids will be close in age again. They can grow up together this time. We laugh. At the park, a woman comments on how sweet it is to see sisters raising their kids together. Rachel and I exchange a look that holds everything we've been through. The birthday dinner, the silence, the awkward coffee, the slow rebuilding. She squeezes my hand. I squeeze back, grateful for the hard work. My daughter asks me why she didn't meet her cousin when they were babies. I tell her a simple version of the truth. Sometimes grown-ups need time to figure things out. Sometimes people who love each other have to spend time apart so they can learn how to be together in a better way. The important thing is that she and her cousin are together now. She accepts it easily. She doesn't need all the details. She doesn't need to carry the weight. On my birthday this year, Rachel shows up with both her daughters and a wrapped package. Inside is a photo album. It has photos from every play date over the past year. Rachel and me, smiling, looking relaxed. I close the album. Thank you, I tell her. She says she wanted me to see how far we've come. My therapist asks if I've achieved what I wanted. I tell her I've achieved something different, maybe better. We're not the close relationship we had before, but we're honest now. We can disagree without shutting down. We can be ourselves without pretending everything is perfect. Rachel doesn't need me to be endlessly supportive. I don't need her to validate every decision. We just show up for each other's important moments. It feels like enough. It feels real. Rachel texts me, suggesting a joint birthday party for our youngest daughters. Butterflies and ladybugs. We text back and forth, planning. I offer to host. She'll handle the cake. As we text, a quiet contentment settles over me. We're not the sisters we used to be. Not the estranged sisters we were a year ago. We're something new. Something we built together through honest conversations and hard work. I'm genuinely happy with where we've landed. So what about you? Have you ever had a relationship break in a way you thought was irreparable, only to find a new path forward? And how do you navigate those complicated family dynamics, especially when you're trying to build something new? I really want to hear your thoughts in the comments below.